Welcome everyone, so it's finally my who wins prediction time for the Ryder Cup. I will break this down by session, creating a final winning score after the singles predictions, so stay tuned to the end. I've looked at the results over the last 4 Ryder Cups, 2023, 2021, 2018 and 2016, and have also taken into account the players in this Ryder Cup across various data points. I'm Graham. Now let's get on with the predictions. Europe needs a hot start on day 1 foursomes to give themselves a chance at not losing the session by too great a margin and giving the US team early momentum. From the US perspective, they will want to put the European side to the sword early on and get the crowd pumped up and cheering loudly. Luke Donald will know Europe can't afford to lose the first session, and Keegan Bradley will be keen to get the US fans loud and onside early. My day 1 foursomes prediction is United States 2, Europe 2, with Europe battling hard to keep the US team in check and coming out even after the morning, a result that will favour Europe no doubt. Fourballs. Now weirdly, the fourballs over the last 4 events is a mirror image of the foursomes, with the US holding the advantage 17.5 to 14.5. If that doesn't tell you this Ryder Cup will be close, then nothing will. Regarding events on US soil, for the last 2 contests it's 9-7 to the US team, although the 2 day 1 fourballs are even at 3-1 US in 2021 and 3-1 Europe in 2016. So for this Ryder Cup, I see the US team winning the session 3-1 as they did in 2021. So after day 1 of the 2025 Ryder Cup, I have the score as United States 5, Europe 3, which would be the same position as 2016 and make day 2 vital for Europe if they want to keep this close. Day 2. From the US events, we see close day 2 foursomes of US 4.5, Europe 3.5. This time around is where I see Europe waking up on day 2 with a bit between their teeth, having remained in contention on day 1. I expect Europe to win the morning foursomes on day 2 with strong performances from their big names, sending shudders down the US fans' spines. The morning foursomes result? United States half a point, Europe 3.5 points. Following that European morning domination, the score sits at US 5.5, Europe 6.5. Historically, day 2 fourballs slightly favour the US on home soil over the last 2 events, but buoyed by the morning and results, I'm again putting Europe to sneak this session, as they know they will have an uphill battle in the singles. Session result, US 1.5, Europe 2.5. So after day 2, the competition stands US 7, Europe 9, with just the all-important day 3 single scores to complete my predictions. If you haven't already subscribed, do so now, and let's get on to the final result. Day 3 singles. With it being close and all to play for, with the US needing 7.5 points to win and Europe needing 5 points to retain, expect both Luke Donald and Keegan Bradley to put some serious firepower out early, with some reliable talent at the end, as both will expect a tight contest based on historic Ryder Cup singles results. Across the last 4 events on both continents, the singles score is US 26, Europe 22. Across the last 2 US hosted events, that gap is even bigger at 15.5, 8.5, with results being 8-4 in 2021 and 7.5, 4.5 in 2016. So expect the US to win the singles outright as pretty much a certainty. But how much do I think they will win by, and what does that mean in terms of who holds the Ryder Cup for the next 2 years? Singles result. So in true fighting style and needing the points to prevent the unthinkable, the United States wins 7.5 points in the singles, with Europe winning just 4.5 points. So the same result as 2016. So there it is. The final result is in. US 14.5, Europe 13.5. Creating the closest Ryder Cup since 2010 and 2012, when Europe came out on the right side of the number at Celtic Manor and at the Miracle at Medina. This time, however, the United States pulls off the win by the tightest of margins. Keegan Bradley stands tall and Luke Donald leaves his role with his head held high without quite being able to get the job done on away soil. I see the trend of home teams winning continuing this time around and likely next time in Europe, but I do feel the US team may be in trouble in future years. Ultimately, as we move forward, most top European players will continue to ply their trade in the US and build a home there. The next wave of young European players will mostly have come through the US college system, and therefore the advantage the US team have on US soil gradually erodes. But the difficulty of the US team travelling to play in Europe remains, and this means that from 2027 onwards, I feel the European team will have enough advantage and can win away and hold on to the Ryder Cup for a few years. I hope as a European I am proved wrong this time around and that Luke Donald secures a historic victory, but if nothing else, the Ryder Cup 2025 will be an amazing event, great competition and a spectacle of our sport for the world to admire. So that's it everyone, my Ryder Cup 2025 score predictions are done. If you haven't liked, subscribed and hit that bell, do so now, as I will be reporting on each session as it concludes in a short. I will run a recap video each day and you can look forward to my full Ryder Cup 2025 report after the event has finished, where I will look at everything that happened and rank the players based on their performance over the 3 days. If you want to check out another Ryder Cup preview video and how I think the individual players will perform, you can find that right here. I'm Graham, and I'll catch you on the course soon.